You're watching Global News Morning on Global Kingston.
Nice of you to be here with us here on Global News Morning. And Matt Lee joins us, our good friend Matt Lee, with some real estate issues always we talk about and interesting developments regarding Airbnbs. Some people are turning their rental properties into Airbnbs. Let's talk about the advantages of that, but also the legalities of that.
So we've seen a few articles come out recently where it's saying that we have a shortage of rental properties, and they're saying that this Airbnb situation has created a bit of that because people are using some of their rentals as short-term properties for people coming in for a few days.
So let's give a hypothetical scenario where someone is going to rent their property out and they can charge a monthly fee for a tenant, or you can rent it out throughout the month, 4 days, 5 days here and there, and charge what you want. Obviously, you're going to make a lot more money.
Yeah, I've heard stories that people are doubling their money. I've heard that they're making, times two or more, and especially if it's waterfront properties, and they're charging for 3, 4, 5 days, you're going to get a lot more in that shorter spot. You can keep weekends for yourself. There's the potential of that. But there's some upside, but there's some downside. We're not technically allowed, and especially in the city of Kingston. There has to be a certain zoning on that. If you are renting out your single-family residential and you are not living in that house, then it's in violation. That's the short answer.
Talk about the mortgage scenario here. In terms of legalities, some cases you won't be able to get a mortgage.
If you're buying a property to rent out as a short-term rental, there is a fine line in there saying that short-term rentals are not allowed with the mortgages. Most of them. I mean, you're going to have to double check, but I've been talking to lawyers about this, real estate lawyers. I've been talking to mortgage brokers, and if you are telling them, they have an obligation to tell the mortgage company that this is for short-term rental, and there is a good chance you're going to be denied.
Wow. And in terms of the legalese of it, it's hard to regulate who is turning their secondary property.
Yeah, it basically comes down to complaints. I mean, if we run into this with people renting out what they classify as illegal apartments, which is changing over the city. But if you were 5-10 years ago and you were in the West End before the secondary suites come out, and somebody said, "Hey, that person's renting out their basement," the city can't be running around chasing and checking all these because they don't know where to start. If somebody's complaining about it, then they have to follow up and check. So then that's kind of where that leads to. If you get into condo buildings and there's going to be a board that's going to be looking at these, there's people that live in the building that are on the board, so they're going to say, you know what, this unit has multiple different people coming in. You'll see Airbnbs where they'll say, you know what, meet me down the street at a coffee shop and we'll give you the keys and this is how we pick them up. And this is wise because it is in violation. So, the legal way of doing it for Airbnb in the city of Kingston, from what I can see, is that if you have a big house and you're living in that house and you have a certain area in that home that you want to rent out, it's like a bed and breakfast. Bed and breakfasts are legal up to 3 people staying there. It's the same as university district in different places. I mean, you're allowed to. You see parents buy houses for kids to go to school, and then they're allowed to rent out other rooms to their friends. And you're allowed to have 3 different people staying there. So there's these different things. I mean, what I would say is if you're looking at doing something like that, then make sure check the bylaws. Go on the City of Kingston website, make some calls. Find out that you're doing it right.
Well, the market dictates the demand, of course.
That's
and
right.
If you're looking to maybe rent someone's house for 4 or 5 days, they're not paying the 75% or whatever the luxury tax is that hotels are charging their clients.
Yeah, there is a tax for the hotel, that they do pay, and I mean that's why the hotels are pushing against this whole situation, because it's not on a level playing field. People are looking at it from the situation saying, you know what, we're the little guy's able to make some money and help pay for his house. So I mean, there's arguments on both sides. Basically, it comes down to zoning. It comes down to the municipality. Some municipalities, they want tourists. They want people coming in. They're being a little more lenient. It depends on where it's located. I just know right here, they're wanting it to be tourist commercial for the zoning.
Interesting aspects on all sides. Thank you so much, Matt Lee. But before we go, introduce us to Connor here. Who is Connor, Matt Lee?
Connor. These are my kids, actually. So Connor was born on Sunday, and we are very excited. So that was Jackson and Scarlett, and that's our new addition. So
wow,
we're very excited. Yeah. So it's the house is growing, and we're just ecstatic. Yeah.
Congratulations, Matt Lee.
Thank you.
So happy.
Real estate tips brought to you by Matt Lee of Royal LePage.